What's up, guys, and welcome back to my channel. In our first news, Paddy Pimblett spoke about the ongoing situation between Ilya and Islam Makhachev, explaining that he's genuinely curious to see how things unfold in the coming months. He said he's been watching closely, especially after Ilya insisted he would move up to face Islam, while also claiming he still wants to fight Paddy next. According to Paddy, that uncertainty is what keeps everyone guessing, because no one really knows which promise Ilya will stick to, and the entire division feels like it's waiting for Islam to make his next move. Paddy added that he could easily end up fighting Ilya, or finally stepping in against Justin Gaethje, especially since many expected that matchup to happen in Abu Dhabi. But as he pointed out, none of it is guaranteed, and everything seems to depend on what Islam chooses to do next. He mentioned that Islam has said he wants Ilya, but until that becomes official, all possibilities remain open. Despite the chaos and shifting plans, Paddy made it clear that his own timeline is locked in. He confirmed that he will be returning to the octagon early next year, emphasizing that the opponent doesn't matter as much as staying active and continuing his momentum. He said fans can expect him back without question, and even though the matchups are still uncertain, he is confident that everything will be finalized soon. He also noted that training has already begun, ensuring he will be fully prepared the moment a contract finally arrives for him. And before we continue, make sure to leave a like on the video and subscribe to help support the channel. Moving on to another news, Nickal has explained why he threw up double middle fingers to the crowd at UFC 322 after knocking out Halfway. Speaking to the media, Bo said he went into the fight feeling like he had something to prove, carrying a real chip on his shoulder. He admitted he wishes he were a little bit better as a person in those heated moments. But the truth is, he's extremely competitive and reacts honestly in the middle of all that intensity. He talked about how fighting in your underwear, under bright lights, with millions of people watching, creates a rush of emotion that's hard to fully control. According to Bo, that moment wasn't about disrespect or anger. It was simply him standing up for himself after feeling the crowd had been giving him grief throughout the build-up and during the walkout. He said that if the crowd is going to jaw at him, boo him, and send negativity his way, then he's gonna give a little bit back, not out of hate, but out of raw competitiveness. For him, those gestures weren't personal at all. They were just a way of expressing how he felt in that exact moment, a natural reaction to the energy around him. Bo made it clear that he doesn't view it as anything bigger than that. It was just him letting the crowd know he heard them. He felt their criticism, and he responded in the heat of the moment. He emphasized that at the end of the day, he's simply trying to do his best, stay true to who he is, and compete with everything he has. Moving on to another news, after her dominant win over Zhang Li, Valentina Shevchenko stirred up the combat sports world once again by opening the door to a potential move up to bantamweight. During her post-fight interview, she was asked about Kayla Harrison's earlier comments, where Kayla said she'd like to fight Valentina at 135, even suggesting the White House as the venue if Valentina came out victorious. Valentina didn't shut the idea down at all. Instead, she said it's definitely one of the possibilities she's considering. She explained that for now, she wants to take care of a few lingering injuries she's been carrying from training camp. She said that after about a week of rest, she'll sit down with her team and her coach P to talk about what's next for her career. Valentina emphasized that she has strong challengers waiting for her in flyweight, mentioning Aaron and Natalia as names that make sense for her division. But at the same time, the bantamweight landscape is also shaping up with Kayla Harrison now holding the belt and Amanda Nunes floating around as a wildcard possibility. Valentina acknowledged that the fans would probably love to see the Amanda trilogy because, in her words, it feels like unfinished business. Their rivalry spans two intense fights. The first happened in 2016, where Amanda won by unanimous decision. The rematch in 2017 was razor close, ending in a split decision win for Amanda. Many fans still debate that outcome today, which is exactly why a third fight has always been such an intriguing idea. But Valentina pointed out that it's still unclear whether Amanda is fully returning, what shape she'll be in, or what her plans are moving forward. She said nobody knows if we'd be getting half Amanda or full Amanda, and that unpredictability makes the situation even more complicated. She also said Kayla remains a real option, calling it another super challenge. And right when fans thought this storyline couldn't get any more interesting, Amanda herself jumped in. On Instagram, Amanda wrote that after she beats Kayla Harrison, she plans to drop down to 125 and take that belt for her collection too. This message instantly lit up social media, signaling loud and clear that Amanda Nunes still has her eyes on Valentina, whether it's Kayla at 135, Amanda dropping down to 125, or Valentina returning to defend her belt against rising contenders. The possibilities are wide open, and every option is massive. Moving on to another news, Khamzat referenced Khabib in a new Instagram post that instantly grabbed fans' attention. He shared a photo of the two, a moment that carried a powerful message without needing much explanation. In the caption, Khamzat wrote, "The wolf and the eagle are not always close, but when you need to protect the mountains, they will always protect them together." The line sparked conversation across social media, with many fans interpreting it as a sign of respect between two of the most dominant figures to ever come out of their region. Despite not always being seen side by side, the message suggested unity, brotherhood, and a shared purpose whenever something bigger is at stake. For supporters who have followed their careers, the post felt symbolic, almost like a reminder that regardless of distance or silence, there are bonds in the sport that run much deeper than what's seen publicly. Moving on to another news, Chael Sonnen and Anthony Smith had strong reactions to JDM's performance against Islam Makhachev, and both analysts didn't hold back in breaking down what they felt went wrong. Speaking on ESPN, Chael said he believed JDM clearly underperformed, noting that 10 minutes into the fight, JDM hadn't thrown a single punch. By the 20-minute mark, he had thrown just 31 total strikes, with only 20 landing, and most of those were simple shots to the body. Chael said he kept waiting for JDM to get going, but the fight kept falling into the same pattern, the same position over and over, almost like rinse and repeat. Chael pointed out that while he appreciates a solid double leg, this wasn't high-level variety from the bottom. It reminded him of something basic, something he learned within his first few minutes of wrestling practice. For him, the lack of urgency or adjustment from JDM stood out in a big way and made the entire performance feel flat. Anthony Smith added to the critique, saying he was disappointed with JDM's overall output and especially his inability to get back to his feet. He explained that JDM wasn't doing enough to force Islam to work harder, and Islam looked extremely comfortable maintaining control without needing to push into any higher gears. Anthony acknowledged that JDM chased a few submissions here and there, but none of them required serious effort from Islam to defend. He went on to say that JDM is usually successful when he throws combinations, switches stances mid-exchange, and mixes in attacks to the body, but in this fight, he didn't do any of that. There was no creativity, no rhythm, and no pressure that would make Islam adjust or take risks. Because JDM never forced Islam into second gear, Anthony said there was simply no reason for Islam to change what he was doing. It was a performance where JDM never truly got started, and both analysts agreed it cost him every opportunity to shift the momentum. Moving on to another news, Khabib shared a heartfelt message for Islam Makhachev following UFC 322, expressing just how proud he was of his longtime friend and teammate. After Islam's victory, Khabib took to Instagram and posted a photo of the two of them standing together, holding Islam's championship belt. It was a powerful moment, capturing years of hard work, sacrifice, and the bond they built through training, competition, and shared dreams. In the caption, Khabib wrote, "One and only Islam. It was an amazing performance, brother. Today you proved that you are one of the best to ever compete in this game. You made millions of people around the world proud. Alhamdulillah for everything." The message quickly spread across social media, drawing emotional reactions from fans who have followed their journey since their early days. This wasn't just a simple congratulations. It was a reminder of how deeply connected they are, how much they respect each other, and how Islam has stepped fully into his role as a champion. Khabib's words highlighted the magnitude of Islam's achievement and the impact it had on supporters across the globe. For many fans, seeing Khabib congratulate Islam in such a meaningful way perfectly captured the spirit of loyalty, humility, and gratitude that both men represent. Moving on to another news, Islam Makhachev's coach Javier Mendez has responded to Ilya's post-UFC 322 comments after Islam secured his second world title. Right after the event, Ilya went on X and criticized JDM's wrestling defense while also calling Islam the most boring fighter in the sport. His comments quickly stirred the fan base, especially because they came right after Islam delivered one of the most dominant performances ever seen inside the welterweight division. In a new interview with Submission Radio, Mendez fired back and made it clear that if Ilya truly wants a super fight at 170, Islam will meet him there without hesitation. Mendez addressed Ilya's claim that Islam is boring, and he pushed back strongly, saying that nothing about that historic moment in Madison Square Garden could be considered boring. He highlighted Islam's unbelievable performance, where he controlled the fight for 19 minutes and 10 seconds, showcasing complete domination from start to finish. Mendez repeated that the moment was incredible and represented something special for Islam, his team, and the welterweight division as a whole. He acknowledged that as a fighter, Ilya knows how to stir things up and get fans invested, and in that sense he does a great job. But the reality, according to Mendez, is simple. If the UFC wants to make the fight, there will be no issue on their side. He can't answer for Islam directly, but based on everything he knows, he believes Islam, along with his manager Ali, whom he called the greatest manager in the sport, will always make the right decision for Islam's career. Mendez also suggested that a showdown between Islam and Ilya is almost inevitable, whether it happens at the White House, in another massive venue, or at a different point in time. The paths of these two fighters are likely to cross if Ilya continues moving upward. However, he made it clear that he doubts Islam will ever come back down in weight. For Ilya, this would be the first attempt at becoming a triple challenger, something never done before. Mendez said such a matchup would be a monster fight, not just for fans of the sport, but for the entire world, given the stakes, the history, and the star power involved. Moving on to another news, Kamaru Usman has opened up about the possibility of facing Islam Makhachev, and he didn't shy away from admitting just how challenging that matchup would be. Speaking with full honesty, Usman said Islam is one of the few fighters who genuinely raise his heartbeat, not because of fear, but because Islam's overall skill set leaves almost no room for error. He explained that he isn't trying to hype Islam or glaze him in any way, but when he studies Islam closely, he doesn't see any real holes to exploit. That, according to Usman, is exactly what makes the matchup so intense and so compelling. Usman reflected on what it feels like to face someone who can match you in every department, and he compared the feeling to the build-up before his first fight with Colby Covington. He said that was the last time he truly felt that sense of danger and competitive fire, because Colby was a guy who could wrestle at his level, grapple at his level, and push him in areas where most opponents simply couldn't. The difference now, Usman said, is that Islam brings that same elite wrestling and grappling ability, but with an even more complete and disciplined approach. He acknowledged that while Islam may not be the best pure striker in the division, he's still extremely effective on the feet, and when a fighter is that good everywhere, the question becomes how to find a path to victory. Usman said that is exactly the kind of challenge that brings out the most spectacular performances in a fighter, because when you are pushed to the limit, your spirit ignites in a different way, and you find yourself ready to fight with everything you have. Usman explained that if the conversation is about which fight is the most competitive right now, he believes a matchup between himself and Islam sits right at the top. He praised Islam repeatedly, emphasizing how impressive his most recent performance was and saying you simply cannot take anything away from what he accomplished. For Usman, the idea of facing someone with Islam's skill set isn't just exciting, it's the type of challenge that defines a fighter's legacy. He said when you step in against someone who is great in all areas, you discover something deeper within yourself, and those are the moments every true fighter lives for. Moving on to another news, Islam Makhachev has fired back at Joe Rogan after the long-running weight cut controversy resurfaced following his dominant welterweight debut. Leading up to UFC 322, many fans and analysts were curious about how Islam would look at 170. Some believed he had been too big for lightweight for years, and that welterweight would finally be his natural division, while others argued he might be undersized against true 170 contenders. But once he stepped into the octagon against JDM, Islam shocked a lot of people. He didn't look smaller than JDM at all. In fact, he appeared stronger, fuller, and more powerful than he ever had at 155. Islam effortlessly took down and controlled the Aussie throughout the fight, displaying a level of strength and technique that JDM simply hadn't experienced before. JDM had previously stuffed takedowns from natural welterweights, but Islam was operating on another level, blending pressure, wrestling, and fight IQ to dominate from start to finish. That performance only reignited the narrative that he had been a weight bully at lightweight, a stance Joe Rogan had strongly pushed on his podcast. Rogan had repeatedly criticized Islam's weight cuts, calling them silly and insisting Islam was never truly a 155-pound fighter. He even claimed Islam walked around close to 190, saying he couldn't understand how a man that size ever made lightweight. Rogan went as far as bringing Dana White and Ari Emanuel into conversations about eliminating old weight cutting practices altogether. His comments gained traction, especially among fans who had long believed Islam was too big for the lightweight division. After capturing welterweight gold, Islam was finally asked directly about Rogan's old remarks. He responded calmly but firmly, explaining why those claims never made sense. He said that every fighter competing at 155 walks around at least 177 or 178 pounds, making his own numbers completely normal. Islam also explained that he doesn't binge eat, avoids late night meals, stays away from sugar, and hasn't touched cola in about 5 years. His natural walking weight, according to him, has always floated around 180 to 182. He emphasized that he never followed an extreme diet and never experienced the kind of draining weight cuts many people assumed he did. For him, lightweight was simply the division where he felt comfortable, disciplined, and physically balanced. His lifestyle and nutrition kept his weight steady, and nothing about his preparation involved drastic dehydration or unhealthy cutting. Islam made it clear that the narrative pushed by Rogan didn't match reality, and his move to welterweight wasn't proof of past struggles, but simply the next chapter in a career built on discipline, consistency, and professionalism. Moving on to another news, after watching Carlos Prates knock out Leon Edwards, Robert Whittaker shared his thoughts on Ian Garry and why he believes people don't give the young contender enough credit. Garry fought pros earlier this year and won by unanimous decision, proving he could handle a dangerous and powerful opponent long before the rest of the division realized how good Pras really was. Whittaker said he thinks Garry's resume is already impressive. He pointed out that while other top fighters have faced high-level competition, Garry has consistently taken on rising prospects and stylistic challenges that many fighters avoid. He mentioned that Garry fought Shavkat, one of the most feared and well-rounded up-and-comers in the division. Then he faced PEDs, another dangerous name, and on top of that, Garry went on to outclass MVP, a striker who brings an unpredictable and frustrating style that can make any fight look chaotic. Whittaker joked about how annoying it must be to face someone like MVP, saying the guy just looks like pain to deal with. He added that when you look at those 3 names alone, Garry has already taken a path filled with real threats, not padded opponents. He emphasized that credit should be given where it's due. Garry has had a strong run to reach his current position in the division, and Whittaker believes the respect he deserves doesn't always match the level of competition he's already faced. Despite the criticism that often surrounds rising stars, Garry's performances show he's earning every step of his climb in the welterweight rankings.